What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another solo leveling arise video. Folks, we are at the end of the week for this patch and we are going to be going into the new one. So while we do this, I always like to do some form of an update of the best possible teams and the best possible weapon combination for Sun Jinu. Now, we did the best possible teams already. That may of course change once Igris does drop, although I doubt the meta is going to change too much. We are going to definitely be looking at a new setup meta that's been used for quite some time now, but I haven't had a chance to talk about it, so we're going to do that so we can give you guys the best possible information in terms of what to get, especially because not only is Christopher Reed going to be going away, we're also going to be losing the brand new custom setup here for these two weapons, right? That the Radiru Spear and then obviously Inoue's Roar. So this is my free-to-play account. I'm going to give you guys the full breakdown of what I've been using, what I've been doing to get high scores, etc. for my setups. WOBL, doesn't matter what it is, right? There is definitely a meta. I'm going to give you the three biggest meta weapon setups, and you guys can decide on what you want to work on, starting from the last from the worst to the best. And we're going to give you guys the full breakdown of how they work and what you want to do with them. Now, also with that being said, I want to remind everybody, content creator program is ending in 2 days for season 14, guys. We have an extra new code that just came out. I've just sent it out to everybody. It's Abyssal Crystals times 10, Abyssal Fragments times 200. That is free and ready to be used right away. And also this one as well too is Mana Power Extract times 1 plus Skill Scroll 2 times 10. So if you haven't hit that support button, guys, make sure you do so. Also, don't forget, if you are supporting, thank you very much. Join the Discord. We're doing giveaways. I do giveaways every season. Every supporter has a chance to win $100. My top 100 at $150, and then my top number one always gets $200 Canadian sent to them every single time. I want to say big shout out to my top 10: BW Panda, Connor Makuja, Beef Patty, J-Sto, 3906 Deeps, Ryan 3400, 2297, and Deedlit, sorry. Thank you so much, guys, for the support, and everybody else all the way down up to down to, I guess, 3,300 members. And also, guys, this is the time to extend. Do not forget, if you log in, go to the supporter tab under my page, you can now hit that extend button, continue getting the new codes that are coming out in between the seasons, plus not lose your rank, and at the same time, get ready for the next season. Don't have to worry about that one. All right, so I want to say that again. Thank you so much, guys, for the seasonal support. I appreciate you as always. Okay, so let's go over all the weapon combinations, the best ones that are currently in use, and I want to talk about them because these are important, especially with the way Sun Jinu works and the current meta. We're going to talk about the worst to the best, okay? And I think this is important. Now, the worst, and I'm going to break this down by DPS and support. The worst DPS setup combo right now, unfortunately, in the game, there's actually kind of three of them, right? They're still decent, but they're not going to be meta. So the first one is going to be Alon's Orb, and it's going to be the Scythe. Unfortunately, with water, because they require to use blessings such as the Wolf Assassin blessing and all that stuff, these two are probably considered the worst setup, also because just water doesn't have enough going for it. The thing with weapons to remember is the weapon combinations are mostly known to not only provide you damage through the weapons, but also to boost your skills. And right now, because water really doesn't have really big water skills available outside of the kick, of course, this is unfortunately going to fall flat. This two combination here is going to fall flat. Now, an honorable mention, if you are brand new, you can still use the Scythe if you want to go for it and get the Kasaka Blaze. They're pretty decent. Alon's Orb is still the best option for water with the Scythe, but this is still not a bad one. So that, I would say, is probably the worst combination in the game right now. The second worst combination in the game right now would be the Fan and the Bow. Avoid the Phoenix Bow as much as possible. We'll talk more about the Fan very shortly. It is the meta weapon, but the Bow, unfortunately, is mediocre. So you kind of want to avoid this combination unless you don't have a choice in the matter, and it's just for some reason you lose all your 50-50s and this Bow continue to drop, right? So you want to avoid that. So for fire, avoid this. The Fan absolutely is a must-have, though. Get the Fan if you can. The Bow is the one you want to kind of avoid as much as you possibly can. All right, so we're going to go through every single combination here. Another one with another element is going to be Dark. This used to be the meta, and that's going to be the combination of the Moonshadow Daggers plus the Plum Sword. That no longer is valid anymore. When you're running a DPS Dark, which really doesn't happen that much anymore, you're really running a support Dark. The Plum Sword has kind of lost its luster. We're eventually going to probably get a replacement for it, I'd imagine, but right now the Moonshadow Daggers are still very viable for a support setup, and I'll talk more about support very shortly. But for a DPS setup, this used to be the go-to because of obviously doing magnifying slashes. That no longer is the case, and I'll talk more about support afterwards, okay, guys? DPS. And in terms of the worst light setup, right now the worst light setup is probably going to be, not everyone's going to have it. It's going to be the Golden Tail Fox plus the Spear. Right now the Himmel Sword is actually better. Now the Himmel Sword, the only reason why I'm saying it's a bad combination, not because it's a bad combination, it's actually a fantastic combination with the staff. It's probably the best light combination. The only issue is it depends on what kind of player you are. If you are a pay to win player and you got this to A5, or if you've worked your ass off and got the extra little crafting and got this to A5, then it's the best light combination is the Himmel Sword and the staff. But if you don't have it, you're actually losing a big part of it because the A5 portion of it is huge. So A4 to staff is still a really, really good option, but it's not the best light option, and we'll talk more about that as well too. So that's the worst setup. Okay, let's talk about the best setups. All right, we're gonna go by order here. Now, for water, this is unfortunately your only choice. That's it. It's the best and the worst. It's the worst. That's the worst thing to mention. If you want to talk about the worst, it'd be Kasaka and then the Scythe, but the best is this still. But it's still the worst weapon combination I think in the game for the best of that element, right? Okay, so. Specific for DPS. Now, if you're running support, I'm just going to talk about support real quick. There's two different combinations of support. Support, you want to run the Stormbringer and the Moonshadow Daggers, right? If you're using the Wind Team specifically, but if you're not using the Wind Team, most of the time you're going to run the Grimoire and you're going to run the Moonshadow. So this is the meta still for support. If you run the Grimoire plus the Moonshadow Daggers, you're set. That's going to be your go-to for 99% of the time, unless you're running the Wind Team, and then you want to go with Stormbringer and you want to go with where's it? Moonshadow. Okay, only with Wind. Now, speaking of Wind, if you're doing Wind DPS using the Stormbringer and using the DKD are going to be your best two options. This is still the best two combinations of DPS for Wind. Now, it's not the best Wind combination because, quite honestly, the best Wind combination is still Stormbringer and the right over here, the Divine Staff. Believe it or not, if you don't know how that works, I have a video on it. Go watch it. It does insane amounts of damage. So that right there technically is the best option between the two. But if you're going strictly just Wind element, DKD and Stormbringer. So that's, I'd say, so Alon Orbs, and then it goes to this. Okay, next. Now, in terms of light, like I mentioned, I would say this and this together are the best, only at A5. So this would be the second worst. It would be light. So water, light, best combinations, right? Worst, but also best, unfortunately. Or, again, Wind and this. Puts it way higher up. So Stormbringer and Light Staff, super, super high, if you can afford it. If you can't afford it and you were getting the Himmel Sword, this is your best light option. All right, now for Wind, like I mentioned, it is going to be these two. And then for Fire, believe it or not, for Fire, it's actually going to be two different combinations. It's going to be the Fan and the Rediro Clan Double-Edged Spear. And the reason why this is so powerful is it boosts so much of your stats, and it makes these two weapon skills right here, Detonation and the Fire Kick, just so overpowered. That's your best option in the game currently. If you can run a good Detonation setup and you can run a good Fire Kick setup, and those are your two weapons, you're set. That's pretty much going to be your go-all, like, be-all, end-all of weapons choices. It's always going to be these two. I've literally run this for every piece of content. No problem. Pretty much destroy everything. And I'm talking about by a large margin. I'm even comparing it to the second best combination for weapons, and that's going to be the Stormbringer and the Staff. Even the Stormbringer and Staff, for the most part, cannot compete with this combination just because the amount of power and skills boost that this gives your Fire Kick and your Detonation. So this kind of plays a two-piece, right? You're going to want to get these two here boosted up, and then that will help you with this combination. Now, the Fan can be technically replaced by Inouye's Roar. Inouye's Roar is a very, very powerful DPS weapon and can do a ton of damage at A5 especially. So if you are going to run the DPS non-support version, let's say you don't have Fire Kick and Detonation for some reason, and you still want to run the Fire setup, you actually want to run the Spear and you want to run Inouye's Roar, and that will actually put it through a lot of damage. But again, Inouye's Roar really does shine at A5 mostly, so if you don't have A5, you're kind of losing out a lot, and you're better off with the Fan, which is an older weapon, and also Rediro's Bolt. And the reason why Rediro's Spear, the reason why I set this up for you guys is because I wanted you guys to understand that the custom banner for the draw is ending soon for this, and it's a good time to actually pick them up as soon as you possibly can. That way you're going to be set up for quite some time and have the setup meta going for you. I hate when they mess that up. I have to redo all these myself. So make sure, guys, if you are looking to build at the moment and you are looking for the meta, that's those two setups right there are the best one. I still think the Fan and the Spear with the proper mythical setup of the skills are unbeatable, like literally unbeatable. So I would suggest go with that. All right, guys, leave a comment. Let me know if you think there's any other better combinations that I may have missed. I've pretty much been able to finish all content with on my free to play with that combination of weapons. So if there's something else that you guys think I should try or that I missed out on that might be a little bit more meta, or at least on the same category of meta, please leave it in the comment section. Don't forget to leave your notifications on, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out, everybody.